Wouldn't it be awesome to have a hummingbird perch on your hand? With some patience and some planning, you can enjoy this experience, and we'll explain how. First, the technique we cover works very well for Anna's hummingbirds in the Northwest in fall and winter. You can try it with other hummingbird species or during other seasons, but you may not have the same results in spring and summer when hummingbirds can opt to visit flowers and eat insects rather than come to your feeder. Here's what you need to know before you get started. You should already have multiple hummingbirds visiting your feeders regularly. Every hummingbird has a unique personality. The more hummingbirds you have in your backyard, the more likely you'll have an individual that will perch on you. Some are bold and will learn quickly, but the shyest hummingbirds may never perch on you. Faces may frighten hummingbirds. It's best if you cover your face and eyes during your earliest close encounters. You have to hold very still for long periods of time when you start the process, and dress warmly enough to do it in cold or rainy weather. You may need to modify, make, or buy a feeder that is suitable for handheld feeding. Most hummingbirds will only learn to feed from your hand if you're close to them frequently. It's ideal if you can do this daily, and multiple times a day is even better. This process may take weeks. Here in Western Oregon, we have Anna's hummingbirds in winter. The Anna's hummingbird thrives alongside humans and was able to expand its range northward in recent times. Where we live, wintering hummingbirds are partially dependent on feeders. They are very reliable visitors when there are few flowers and insects for them to eat elsewhere. Anna's hummingbirds are quite tame and unafraid of large creatures like humans, but quick movements will scare them. If you live where there are no hummingbirds in winter, you may have other species arriving in early spring. After a long migration, they may visit feeders very frequently, and techniques that work for wintering Anna's hummingbirds might also work for them. To keep hummingbirds healthy and coming to your feeders need to be kept clean and sanitary, and refill them before they are completely empty. Nectar should consist of refined white sugar, sucrose, and water only. In warmer months, nectar must be changed frequently to avoid fermentation, and in winter, nectar should be kept thawed from before sunrise to after sunset. Wintering hummingbirds need to drink large quantities of nectar before sunrise and after sunset. Don't stand near or hold the feeder during these times of day to allow shyer hummingbirds to drink as much as they need. Anna's hummingbirds visit feeders most frequently during cold or bad weather, so you should be prepared to stay comfortable outside when you're standing still. When you're ready for handheld feeding, you'll need to make or buy a small feeder that is easy to hold in your hand if you don't already have one. Large bottle-style feeders may be too awkward to use this way. You need to be able to position your fingers to form a perch so that the hummingbird can drink comfortably. Wrap your hands around the rim of small feeders with just a ridge of skin rising above the level of the perch. These tiny feeders, called nectar dots, are made for feeding hummingbirds as they hover, not for having them land on you. You may be able to position a fingertip to serve as a perch, but sometimes fingertips are too smooth for hummingbirds to grip comfortably. A small jar with a red or orange plastic lid can work. Measure the distance from the perch to the feeding port on a feeder. Then make a hole in the lid the same distance from the rim. Wrap your hand around the rim to form a perch. You may want to leave your hand feeder outside for a while to let the hummingbirds get used to feeding from it. You're going to start by placing yourself near a hummingbird feeder. If you have more than one feeder, select the busiest feeder. Stand or sit about 6 feet from the feeder with your eyes and face obscured. A hat with a brim pulled over your eyes, sunglasses, or a mosquito head net will obscure your eye movements that can scare hummingbirds when they aren't used to you. Mouth movements can also scare hummingbirds, so cover your mouth if you think you might smile involuntarily. If hummingbirds approach repeatedly without landing, move a little farther away. Once you've found a distance that the hummingbirds will accept, stay there long enough for them to visit a few times, and repeat this process for a few days. Keep reducing the distance little by little every day until you're close enough to the feeder to touch it. If the hummingbirds are becoming very comfortable with your presence, you can gradually uncover your face and eyes and see how they react. You may need to continue obscuring your eyes a bit longer. Sometimes the hummingbirds are busy elsewhere and won't visit for a while. Don't give up, just try again later. Now you're ready to take the next step by holding the bottom of the feeder or its hanger. Keep your eyes still or cover them. Again, do this for a day or two before moving to the next step. Now you're ready for the ultimate step, getting one to perch on your finger. Your finger is an unfamiliar surface, and some hummingbirds will hesitate. Give them a chance to figure it out. If they still don't perch after a couple attempts, try adjusting your finger. If needed, go back to holding the feeder for a few days and then try again later. A few hummingbirds may never perch on you, but most will adapt quickly. Once you've got hummingbirds perching on your finger, you can let them get more familiar with facial and eye movements. If you're still covering your face or eyes, now you can try uncovering them and start blinking and moving your eyes naturally. In time, you can even talk to them. Although they don't care what you say, your neighbors may think you're weird. You're going to try between. Your hummingbird's tolerance and trust will increase if you allow them to adapt slowly to eye and face movements and speech. Your final success depends on your perseverance and the personalities of the hummingbirds who visit your backyard. It may take a long time to get one to perch on you, but if you follow these guidelines, there's a good chance you'll have hummingbird encounters like you've never had before. Even when they're not perching on you, you'll be able to watch the antics of hummingbirds at close range. Once you're successful, keep a daily routine so they stay in the habit of visiting you. We keep a handheld feeder ready at our back door and bring it with us whenever we step outside because we are often accosted by hummingbirds demanding food from us. This male, who we call Rascal because he's a bully among our backyard hummingbirds, can see us through the sliding door and has learned that we'll feed him if he hovers at the door. His demands are always granted. Hummingbirds are curious about new nectar sources, and they may come to you if you hold the feeder in a different location. This young male, we call him Junior, often comes to us when we show up near his favorite perch. If you try this, tell us your story in the comments section.